So we're in day two. We're in day two of this week of sharing and growing and transforming together. My topic today landed on my heart very quickly because I was technically not scheduled to be here today, but I was telling Tiffany that clearly it was ordained because I'm here. There was another leader that was scheduled to be in the space. However, she wasn't able to keep the commitment. So here I am sharing this message, gaining mastery over your mortality. So thank you for being here. Y'all know me, or you should know me and what I'm going to say if you've been in this space. Please invite others to join this conversation. We're all mortals. We all are going to leave this earth. And I don't want to get ahead of myself by jumping in too quickly. I just want you to know that this is a conversation for humanity. This is a conversation that amplifies our humanity. This is a session that is going to be talking about life through the framework of death. So invite others, invite folks who've never been to Wake Up Everybody before, invite others who've been here before but haven't been here in a while. If you don't see them in the space, tell them to come on through. We have an opportunity to co-create a powerful and generative conversation together. And once again, this is Coach Shawnee Benton Gibson. I am here for day number 652. Can you believe it? Of the Wake Up Everybody virtual community. And our topic today is gaining mastery over our mortality. So happy to see who's in the space, just asking everyone to mute if you would. Mortality. All right, someone is unmuted and is coming through. Might be my partner. All right, so just asking, grab some water. When we talk about, even though I'm coming from a high vibrational space as it relates to this conversation, some may be triggered by the conversation. So get some water, sit in a comfy space. If you need to lay down while you receive this information, lay down, take care of yourself. Once again, if there's somebody you know in your life, please invite them to come and join us this morning in this conversation about gaining mastery over your mortality. This week is about mastery. We always have at least 1 week where we engage in a topic or unpack a topic, and all the facilitators have to weave that into their session. So this week is mastery. So I'm talking about mastery over your mortality. So looking forward to it. Let's hit it. Let's create it. Let's be it. Let's do it.
Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. It's time to get up. Stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. It's time to get up. We're healing, we're dealing, we're growing. Together, releasing. We're teaching, we're moving. Together, we're learning, discerning. We're striving. Together, we're leading, connecting, transforming. Together.
All right, family. How are you? This is Coach Shawnee Benton Gibson. As I said, coming to you live from Queens, New York. I'm a queen from Queens and just really grateful to be here and to engage in a conversation about mastery over your mortality. So I want to jump right into it. Today is a short day. Technically, it's like one of our Wake Up Everybody appetizer days where we are scheduled to be here for like 30 minutes, 45 minutes. My commitment is to make sure that whatever I deliver, I was telling Tiffany, who's my partner with admin today, that I'm here to make it potent, powerful, and relevant. I'm conscious of the fact that this is a conversation about the relationship that we have with death and dying. But what I am excited about is that we get to reframe and reclaim what that means for us. So welcome to the space, asking everyone who can to please invite others to join us. If you have a cousin, an auntie, an uncle, a friend, an enemy, a frenemy that might be interested in joining us in this conversation, please, or they may not be, but you think it would be beneficial for them to join, please do invite them to be in here. We are 10 deep now, and that's all good. It's not about the numbers, it's about the intention and the potency of the session. But I always like to have at least 30 folk up in here. So we are 20 people away from actually manifesting that. And I know we can do it because we don't like that in this community. If you are new to the Wake Up Everybody clan, welcome, welcome, welcome. I see some names that are not familiar to me. So welcome to the space. And if you're a seasoned, you know what we do and you know how we do it. So I'm going to start out with a question that I would like to pose to the community. When you think about mortality, when you think about being mortal, what comes up for you? So you can drop in one word, you can drop in a phrase, a sentence, you can drop something in that demonstrates what your relationship is and what your thoughts are about mortality. So please, if you would, drop it in the chat, let it marinate a little bit. I know it's 7:07 and you just may have gotten up and rolled over, but just asking you to activate the brain and the heart and share, please, what mortality means to you. I'm going to give you a few seconds to just drop that in, and then we'll see where the conversation takes us. I see one drop in. So what y'all tired? And I don't even think that came from a member of the community. It might be from Tiffany. Yep. All right, y'all know how I do. We'll start calling on people. When you think of the word mortality, thank you, Adam. Please unmute.
Good morning, Shawnee. Good morning.
Good morning.
When I think of the word mortality, I think of, being at at somebody else's mercy or being at your own mercy when it comes to, putting your own life at jeopardy. For instance, catching a criminal charge is another form of mortality, in my opinion.
Got that. Yeah. One of the things that I'm going to share later on is some of the things that have gotten me present to my own mortality. And you'll find out later when I speak about it. It's only going to be maybe 10 minutes away from now. Why what you just shared ties into one of the things that got me present to the fact it's like, this time is not guaranteed. I knew that logically, but on an emotional and spiritual level, I'm like, whoa, hold up. Wow, wait a minute. Let me fall back. Let me think about this. Let me process. Let me engage. So thank you for your share. Who else, family? Mortality. Let me see what's in the chat. Abimbola says, transition to the land of the ancestors. Thank you, beloved. Tiffany shared, when you think of mortality, okay, she's just adding the question. So Tiffany, unmute yourself. Tell me your thoughts, because I know you will always participate and generate in this conversation too.
Yes. So when I think of mortality or being mortal, it means that I need to make every moment count. They always say here and with the nobody is promised tomorrow, and some people didn't wake up this morning. So all of these sayings and thoughts is what I was raised with. And so trying not to get lost in this particular moment or a moment period that would snatch me away from living another joyous moment. And then also making sure that I keep my relationships on an up and up, because I never know when I might not be able to apologize to somebody for something that I said or a miscommunication that happened between us, and carrying that guilt because I didn't let them know that I still love them or that we were okay. So that's what that means to me.
Yeah, not everybody thinks like this, Tiffany. So I'm curious about when you started to engage in this thought process about, I might not be here, so let me say sorry, let me speak my mind, let me declare my intentions, like whatever those let me ... moments are or circumstances. What got you there? What created a dynamic to even think about that? Because not a lot of folks are in that realm.
Experiencing death young, I would say. And oddly enough, one of the first deaths that I can recall my family dealing with was with a baby. Um, and it was actually two babies back to back. One baby was born with genetic birth defects that impacted the baby's ability to live once they were born. And the other baby we had for 3 months before she transitioned because of SIDS. And so it was like, wow, not even the babies are safe. And I was probably around 14, 15 at that time. And it's like, to me, what do you mean the babies aren't safe? Like, they're babies. Like,
Right.
and so that's when it was like, wow, nobody is really guaranteed tomorrow.
Got that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And I'm asking Tiff these questions, but I'm also asking it of the other members of this community. Like, what moments in time, what circumstances, what people, places, and things have gotten you present to your mortality? And for those of you who have just arrived in this space, I don't want to assume that you know what the subject matter is for this morning. My session is about gaining mastery over your mortality, gaining mastery over your conversation, your relationship with death. And for me, it's not a morbid conversation. To me, it's an invigorating, empowering, and life-giving and sustaining conversation. But for many of us, we've been taught differently. So Tiff just, laid out that her relationship with mortality or death happened by virtue of the death of the youngest members of society, the ones that you believe will be here for a long, long time. Definitely when a baby is born after you, like when you're older, you're like, they're going to live longer than me, I'll go first, right? And that's not always the case. And so just inquiring with this community while I simultaneously ask you to invite others to join the space. If you see somebody who's part of the community who's not here, or if you know somebody who you know would benefit from being in this conversation and a reframe around mortality, death, loss of life, please do invite them, because it's all about being generous in this space and making sure that we're not the only ones in this conversation. So who else in this space is present to when you got present to this life and death thing, that you might not be here? Well, you're definitely not going to be here forever, but just conscious of it, because I wasn't always conscious of it. So Tiff, I see that there are posts from Facebook, and I also know that others are in this space that may want to share about this reality for themselves. So please do jump in.
Yes. So the share from Facebook came from D.Y. Forrester, who said, an illness or diagnosis will have you mindful that life is short. My thoughts are evolving, being intentional with words and actions, forgiveness of self so that there is no guilt.
Ashe, yeah. And I'm curious, that came from Darnice or D.Y. Forrester on Facebook. Like, you're speaking about it like outside of yourself. Was it your experience with death that actually gave you the presence of mind that, wow, I too will not be here forever? And what does that mean? Or what did that mean when it happened? And once again, curious about folks in this Zoom space as well. Like, what was the activator around you and your mortality? And I'm seeing that Jennifer shared that she's reminded of the impermanence of life when she thinks of mortality. So thank you, Jen, for sharing that. Yeah, life is not permanent, but it is in a sense too. So Why do you think I'm saying that? And folks can comment on what made you present to your own mortality, the inevitability of your death. And then also, Jen was saying life is impermanent. And I'm saying that there's also some aspect of its permanence too. What makes life permanent, even in the face of death and mortality? So anybody want to come on and talk to me, please do raise your hand. Valencia says, when I started selling life insurance, it became real that my children may not have mommy. Wow, thank you. Valencia, you want to chop it up with me about that a little bit? And I see Catherine, so I'll come back to you.
Good morning. I'm sorry. I don't have really good reception, but I'll try.
It's all right. Go ahead. Let's take a go at it.
Yeah, it's just, just I guess just talking about it, on just educating my clients, the possibilities, just not being prepared financially for your children. And I guess as time just went by, I think it hit me more when COVID happened, and everybody was just dying randomly. It was just like, oh my gosh, like, what if it was me? What if, I mean, thank God I caught COVID and survived, but it's just, I don't know. It just became just more real, because a lot of people died, just wasn't prepared. So you've seen a lot of GoFundMe's and, just people just not really able to, take care of their family. I mean, there's one family I remember, their mother died, and the children, I guess, I don't know who was in charge of that GoFundMe, but, it was like, I forgot the exact words, but pretty much just to say like, mommy wasn't prepared, can you help us please? It was, something along the lines of that. So that really like just caught my attention, and just trying to make sure that at least I'm prepared and just doing my best to facilitate that for people to, do the same. I'm complete. Thank you.
Thank you, beloved, for the share. Once again, my reframe. So one of the things that actually got me really profoundly connected to death in a deeper way, I was always present to it because, I worked as a social worker, I've lost clients. I've worked around fertility losses, reproductive losses, and grief. So stillbirths. I've officiated at services where family members of people who I love have died, and my own family members have died. I've been the officiant. I've sung at funerals, said poems at funerals, done the eulogy, lots of stuff. But what really solidified my relationship with death and my relationship with my mortality was the death of my daughter. Having her die before me, watching her die, being present and looking at her body in the casket as a 30-year-old woman, that got me really, really connected to the impermanence, like Jennifer was saying, of life. It's like this young woman who I expected to bury me is now being buried by me. The other piece that you shared, Valencia, that stands out for me too, is this whole concept about the GoFundMe. So part of this conversation today, oh goodness, tonight, Lord, today, this morning, is me thinking about what allows us to gain mastery over our mortality. And what one of the things is our relationship with people, right? Our familial relationships, our friendships, our camaraderie, our friendships or connections with colleagues, and what we co-create in the world. That creates a permanence for me and my presence in this lifetime. My mastery over mortality is about me building and connecting with people and forging meaningful networks so that it transcends my life in this physical body. So the GoFundMe, when my daughter passed away, was not about me not having the resources to bury her. The GoFundMe was about me allowing the community, where her mortal self was present when she was alive, but her immortality was present because people loved her so much. and were so connected to her that they wanted to collectively support her burial. And it took something for me in my mortal flesh as a mother to accept that, because I'm like, I don't want to go out like that where they think I'm not prepared to bury my child. I want to give over these resources, these finances, because my child is worth it. And my close friends and confidants were like, sit your ass down, shut your ass up, and let us help you do this, because that's our child, not your child. So I did that. And Shamani's mortal physical body was gone, but her immortality was etched in the ethers, because the community that loved on her, co-created and raised her, co-parented her, were like, we got this, we're doing this. So mortality is an interesting thing, right? And my relationship with it is forever transforming. Am I afraid about how I might die and what it might feel like? Absolutely. But the bigger piece for me is who I get to be after I'm gone, for people, places, and things. So who has something to say about what I just shared? You know, I see we're up to 24. Remember, I gave my word that we will be up to 30 before we get out of this space. So please do keep inviting. If there's somebody that's normally in this space and they're not here, invite them to join us so that we can engage in this powerful, generative conversation, because we're worth it. So who wants to say something about what I said? You may disagree. And Catherine, I know you had your hand up, so let's hear from you first. I know you wanted to talk earlier before I made the statement I just made, so feel free to say whatever that is and to add more if you so choose.
Yes, peace and blessings, beloved. Thank you so much for continuing to be here. I love your courage and your energy. So yeah, I was trying to respond to a question you asked before, or what you just said, and of course, all what you just said took me probably out to outfield. Yeah, I love love. And just yesterday, I was talking to two, I think they were calling themselves missionaries. I was invited to a birthday party. Someone was 80 years old, and she attended a church where two missionaries came to her party. And then they talked about seeing their loved ones after they pass away. And these were 20-year-old young ladies. And I thought about it, and I don't ascribe to, I'm going to see my husband, Michael, who has made his transition. That's not something that I look forward to. Understanding for me that it doesn't appear to be a necessity. That's what I found on my journey. And that's given me some level of comfort. For some reason, ever since 1994, I've been at the bedside of quite a few family members who are making their transition. And my grandmother being the most important person to me. And so I was been understanding, or trying to get an understanding of why is that? Why am I comfortable with that? And I used to fear, of course, my children dying, but when I feared that, it was believing that the pain would be unbearable, and I'm not one for pain. However, today, that's not a fear of mine, and my perception of who's to go first, that has something to do with a power outside of me, and I don't worry myself about that. So I too ascribe to what you were saying as far as wanting to be present enough while I'm here with relationships. That's my energy. With relationship, the priority is with myself first, because I'm a firm believer that my best me makes a real good we. So that's where my energy is. And so thank you for sharing what you shared about the GoFundMe page with Shamani, because I was trying to understand why it impacted me so much when she made a transition, and we supported and loved on you and the family. So that experience took me over to a real comfortable place to see you, stand just so strong on the ancestors. So that's what I want to share with the community this morning. So thank you so much, and everyone have a blessed and prosperous day.
You too, definitely. Thank you for your share. There are so many places that this negotiation of mortality and death have taken me, especially over the last few years. COVID definitely opened up a space of fear and trepidation, as well as possibility and opportunity for me. And I see my cousin is in this space, Ia Robin, and she has her hand raised. So I want to hear from her. And yeah, I was just talking about you. Well, you were one of the members of the clan that actually was like, no, you are not paying for this funeral. So we're talking about mastery over your mortality and your human beingness as it relates to death. And family, we're almost at 30. Remember, I gave my word that we are going to hit 30. Now we're going to, I'm aiming for
Alexa, turn
35.
off.
You ready? Yeah.
Yeah, y'all heard me say Alexa, turn off. Yes. I was on Facebook and heard you, and what I wanted to share with that is that I was on both sides with you on both sides, hearing you say you wanted to, well, first of all, the devastation of Shamani's death in itself, and she's my bonus daughter, so I felt everything that you felt. Everything that you felt, maybe not everything, but I was in there with you. So just seeing, feeling, and experiencing the vacillation between this is my daughter, I want to do this for her, and the community. Like, we are community builders, Ia. So the community just demonstrated to us what we're creating, what we want. And I totally get, like, I'm not comfortable with this, but I also see the beauty when we allow the community, and I always write community when I'm spelling it out with the capital letters, unity. That's exactly what took place in the whole preparation for everything with Shamani. And to know that Shamani's life meant so much to everyone, and that everyone wanted to contribute in any way that they can. It went beyond the, not everybody. Usually when somebody dies, they say, somebody asks, what can I do? Let me know whatever I can do. You don't know. You don't know what a person can do. You don't know how to ask for what you need, what you want. And we also don't know, like, what's too much. So that's a hard question. It's a challenging question to ask. And thank you, you want to say thank you to the person for wanting to be a part of it. But when you don't know what you don't know, and you're still grieving and you don't know how to ask for something, when the community just steps in and says, this is what I'm going to do, that whole GoFundMe thing was hard for you. And I remember that. But also, like, I didn't know how to do it. Yeah, Jeanette didn't know how to do it, but Kia did. So everybody put their little piece in some way. And just the devastation of the news alone for this pillar in the community at 30 years old showed how we really can work together, and how we really can eulogize somebody's life beyond the words of the eulogy in the obituary. That's a legacy too.
It is
also a legacy that community can come together and make things happen to ease some of the grief, but also to accentuate somebody's life.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Thank you, cousin, for the share. So much came up as you were talking about it. And one of the things that I wanted to definitely share is that our mortality, and I said this already, I'll repeat it, that we transcend these physical bodies when we create community. And you just gave it verbally. And you echoed what I was sharing about the fact that because of the creation of community around Shamani, helping raise her, like, I've been part of communities that were around since she was born, not just my family, but folks that are part of my chosen family. And then church community, like different spiritual communities and social communities, like all of those layers. Because of that, she's still alive, right? And what Spirit gave me as far as her hashtag, that everybody keeps repeating it. It's beyond me because I'm a conduit as Shawnee lives, and that's inside of her death. And my intention this morning was not to talk so much about Shawnee, but this is a great framework about mastery over our mortality, because she taught me that, like the signs, the symbols. I'm about to write a book about signs of life after death, because there are so many. And you are leaving your footprints, family, a footprint for people to remember you. And I'm saying that word very specifically, to remember you, and a footprint for folks to release and forget, right? So it's your choice how that goes. My grandbabies, which are part of Shamane's immortality, right? She left these grandbabies, and I don't know what their future holds if they'll choose to have babies, but if they do, the clan will keep perpetuating itself, and she'll live on through that and them. But what I was going to say, oh my God, I lost my train of thought. Terrible. I was going to say something about, well, let me go in this direction. Just co-creation is a way to generate in an immortal way, like keeping the clan going. And if the clan has specific gifts and talents, then they will live on. In my family on my mother's side, and my family on my father's side, they have multiple talents too, but I'll start with my maternal side. My sister is here in the space too. We're great with our hands. We have healing hands. We do hair. We're artists. We're physically strong. We can fight. Like we got hands too in that way. It's amazing how we are that way. We're all artistically gifted. We're all spiritually gifted, especially the women. So dreams, clairaudience, clairvoyance, which I've talked about in other sessions. So that's a way to be immortal too, is to keep the gifts and the learnings and the cultural practices and the rituals of your family alive. You become immortal in that way. And if you're the innovator around that, you can come up with a ritual. They may not know it was you, but your energy is still alive in it, and the family just keeps perpetuating it. So we can live and be immortal by just creating and generating all of these powerful things. What I was going to say that I lost a train of thought on is about my grand gifts, and how my grandbaby Anari will watch the movie Coco. And if you've watched the movie Coco, if you have little ones in your family, Coco is about death, but it's also about immortality in the sense that you are forgotten or you're lost if people stop speaking your name and, putting you in that sacred space, your picture, and, praying about you and asking you for guidance. If they stop doing that, that's when you are forgotten, not when you die. So, it's such a moving movie, and it's so dope and so powerful. And me, if y'all know me, I'm an activist, a decolonizer, I'm anti-racist in my bones. And so for that type of cultural practice by Latinx folks gets amplified, and that becomes the narrative or the focus of I can't even call it a cartoon. Like, it's a film, it's a movie, adults need to watch it. Such a powerful learning about what immortality is and what responsibility we have to leave a footprint that will stay alive, and what our clan has as far as responsibility to keep our names active and alive and being called. So I see, Robin, you want to speak again? Let me reverse, because I'm going to go to Veronica first and then come back to you, Veronica, what do you want to share, love?
Okay, I'm just waking up.
It's okay.
Long day, but it's a quick story about the name Hunter. My son's girlfriend at the time, she has a baby for my son. She wanted to name the child Hunter. And we all said, well, why do you want to name this child Hunter? And she says, I just love that name Hunter. And so I help her start her DNA search on Ancestry. And somebody calls her family and says, we need to get in touch with you because there's a John Hunter who came out of slavery and started the first hospital in Raleigh, North Carolina. And he is remembered, and he's an ancestor of yours. And she knew not why she called this child Hunter. But the universe knew that Hunter had to show up again in our lives. And what you just said to me is like, we move, I keep telling everybody we move in clans and we can't escape the clan. And the clan is generations and generations and generations that want to come back to tell the story. Yesterday, as I shared with you, Shawnee, when the young man said his name is Shameik Hunter.
Mm.
Is that not affirmation that the clans are here, but we are not paying attention?
Ashe.
Your cousin Robin stayed in your circle when you didn't know she was your cousin,
Yes.
because the universe keeps putting us together in the clans. The clans have to stay together, and we are together, but we're not recognizing each other.
Thank you so much.
It's phenomenal that that these hunters keep coming in, and my hunter that I have a grandson named Hunter is so extraordinary at 3. And so we've got to look for the extraordinary in death and dying. My husband passed, and Hunter said to me the other day, he said, Nana, that's Papa. And he's been sleeping for a long time. And so there's those names that keep reverberating in our lives. And it's those that have died and gone on. And we keep renaming our children.
Sure.
And then people come into our lives with those names, and we wonder why we like them and we love them. We feel so close to them. And we think it's just because, oh, this is that name. No, it's because they were part of the clan that came back. That's my opinion. Thank you. And I'm complete.
Thank you. And your opinion matters and your experience matters. I love that the name is a position. Also, like, it's thinking about clans. Sometimes clans are named by their skill set, the gifts that they bear. So Hunter, like a whole clan can be powerful hunters and keep perpetuating that energy and teaching it and teaching it and teaching it. And the way to make a bow and arrow might have been created, or a special way, or carving it and structuring it and using it might have been created by your great grandmother or great grandfather. And
here my daughter married somebody. She went to the museum, like I told you, and she had on, and then she comes down from the back in this gown, and she's married to somebody whose last name is Hunter. Mm. How does that happen?
It happens by spirit, by ancestry. And because we're immortal, one of your ancestors might have orchestrated that, but we're not taught that. Yeah. So just thinking about stretching our minds about what being mortal is and what immortality means. So thank you so much for sharing, beloved. And Robin, your hand is up. And Tiff, if you can help me with the shares in the chat once Robin speaks.
Thank you for allowing me to speak again. I had 3 points. When you were talking about Coco, I was thinking about the one, I can't remember the name of it. We don't talk about Bruno. We don't talk about Bruno, but it's the opposite concept of raising our ancestors by calling it Encanto, right?
Yeah.
It's the opposite concept. So we don't talk about Bruno. And in families, when you think about it, when someone did not live a good life,
right?
When someone did not have the best, things, some people embarrass their families, mm-hmm. Some people embarrass communities, and we don't talk about them the same way that we would talk about somebody that brings life to every situation. So it's also when we're talking about mortality and immortality, we're talking about how we're living, how we're choosing to live. And, we got to assess that for ourselves. Do you want your name called? And if you do want your name called, what do you want people to say about you? So that's one point I wanted to make about you, because I don't want people to say, we won't talk about Robin. I don't want people to say that, Another point I wanted to make is in alignment with what Veronica just raised. So there is Egun, that's a Yoruba word for ancestors, and then there's Egbe. which is the Yoruba word for your spiritual clan. So they do like they coincide, but the spiritual clan, that what you're referring to, Veronica, is more about your heavenly mates. And that was my most recent initiation to Egbe. And we come here, we decide that we want to come and we want to heal this family and we want to do this. And, we know who we are. We little lights coming into the world and reincarnated or carnated as this particular soul that wanted to be with this particular family, your Egun. But then you came from a clan that didn't have to be your ancestral clan. And Hunter, the way that you described that story, that sounds more Egbe than Egun. The clan that's up in heaven, if you will, of hunters is coming down to do whatever they did. I'm still learning, so I don't want to misinform or misspeak about it, but it sounded like what you were talking about is Egbe. And some of our spiritual clan in heaven can be our blood-related relatives on earth, but it does not have to be, because Shawnee and I are Egbe. Shamani was my Egbe. That's our clan up in heaven somewhere. And, there's different divinations and stuff that you can do to find that out. But like Veronica was saying, you meet some people and it just feels like you know them forever. Yeah. This whole Wu community is Egbe. There is a core group that comes on here. I don't come on here every day. I try to, at least Facebook, but there is a core group of you that is definitely Egbe. You're the clan that rolls together, that gets more people to come in and is moving forward towards the same goal. Sure. And that's, Johnny, you created that. So that's our Egbe, still, even though some of us move in different directions. I wanted to say that, and I thank you.
Thank you, love. Just so much. Thank you, family. We're almost at 35. Y'all know I don't play when it comes to this. We're manifestors, so keep inviting, because there's certain conversations that are vital to our existence. And we've been duped when it comes to, especially those of us who identify as Black and brown, and if you identify as white too, but just what E.R. Robin was laying down, when you've been stripped of your culture and your practices, when you've been treated less than humanely, by those who are part of the dominant culture in this situation, folks who have been enslaved, mistreated, made into beasts of burden in the minds of the folks that oppress. You can be in a constant state of thinking from a fearful space and acting from a fearful space about your mortality. African-centered practices aren't designed from around death to be fearful and full of like trepidation and trying to run in the opposite direction from something that's inevitable, which is the physical death of the body, us being absent from the ceremonial and ritualistic aspects of our transition processes, like being robbed of that. Has really created an imbalance here on earth, and then also an imbalance on the spiritual plane. And so it's super important for us to be able to reclaim our relationship with our final rite of passage, which is death, final rite of passage in this physical body. And so do I have this down? No, I would be lying if I said that I have this down. I think about living a long time because the women in my family do, right? But I also think about how I'm going to die and what will that be like, the death of this flesh. And we start dying as soon as we are born. That's the trajectory that we're on. But we're taught that, or our mindset is that we're magical, invincible, as far as the body is concerned. And it's just not true. And like I said earlier, some of us, not all of us, it depends on how old you are and what you've been exposed to, have been shocked into reality about just how finite this physical body and this life that we're in is. However, we can make it infinite and immortal by the way we show up in it, the footprints that we leave. And I'm going to say a little bit about that before we start to close out. Because remember, I always am scared. I never want to do 30-minute sessions because I never do 30-minute sessions. It always goes over. But someone had to step back who was scheduled to facilitate today. And Spirit gave me this conversation to have. So y'all forgive me. I'm not a 30-minute type of chick. I'm just not. I see Amelia's hand. And then also, Tiff, I want to read this chat because I know it's popping. So where do you want to go first? Unmute yourself. Tell me.
So we got 2 hands up now, so we can go with Amelia.
Okay.
We have a lot coming in the chat, and I'll share that. And then we can go to the other hand that's up, the Rise of the Unknown.
That's Teresa.
Okay.
All right. Awesome. She be trying to sneak in and be other people in the space. All right, Amelia, come on, baby.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
This conversation is always so timely. Recently, I've been feeling the presence of my dad and my grandmother, both of who transitioned in a relatively short space of each other. My grandmother and my dad were very, very family oriented. My grandmother, she was one of 8. She had 8 kids, and I'm one of 7. So my dad's side of the family, we're very much family centric. And when my dad and my grandmother died, they were the light and the glue that brought our family together. And when their essence left, it caused our family to separate in a way that I couldn't, that is still hard for me today because we're still repairing that separation. And I realized in this last week, as their energy and their essence was coming to me, is that the way that when they left this realm, within me, it shifted me so much that in this life, I've still been living from that grief, not really processing the grief of who they were to me and allowing that to really push me forward in a way that is a beneficial presence, not just for me, but a greater presence for my family. And I say that not in the fullest level that I can be, because I've been existing, I've been doing it, I've been going, I've been moving, but I know it's not at the level that I'm capable of because I didn't truly process the grief of what it was to lose them in my life. When the energy came to me this week, it was with that reminder that they live on through me, through us, in their values, their principles, their love, their laughter. It is so present within us, and using that to allow us to continue to move forward and live in their name, in honor of their name.
Ashe, thank you for taking yourself there and giving yourself the medicine that you need for your grieving process. I do healing work. I've been a clinician for 20 something years, but in the realm of social services for over 30. And just one of the things that stops and blocks flow in people's lives that I've watched, whether they were using substances or had mental health challenges, a lot of times there was some aspect of grief and loss and death present that was slowing them down, stagnating them, making them toxic, creating a space where they wanted to be checked out. And when you were first talking about your clan members, I was like, oh my God, I know they're like, come on now. Like, first and foremost, I'm immortal because you're here, right? I said this earlier about my grandgifts, and if they have children, they'll keep perpetuating that. Somebody's gonna have my big ass forehead, or my nose, or somebody's gonna have the deep voice that I have, or my earlobes, or my ability to sing, or it's gonna be present. I'm immortal, and this is not my own. It got passed down to me from someone else who's immortal that is part of my clan. And so when we start to stagnate, stop, deny, deflect those connections to our emotional expression about grief and loss, I get that. But most of the grieving, and especially the complicated grieving, is all about us. We say it's about the other person, but it's about our missing and our discomfort and our. And sometimes there's a missing of the life that was lived and the contribution that has been made. And so I want to quickly say, and then Tiff, you can take us where you feel we should go, that your clan members, now I'm saying this to Amelia, but I'm also saying it to everybody in the space. They're immortal because they created, right? Created, you're here, and procreated. on some level. Like somebody did something to bring babies into the world to keep your clan growing and flowing. Innovation, anything that they created that's different or add on to something that already existed within the family, maybe in their work life or whatever. You may not know those things, but innovation makes you immortal. Being in relationship with others, which we've talked about extensively when I mentioned Shamani, that makes us immortal. Being loved and also giving love, that reciprocity makes you immortal. Love is infinite. Love is universal. It may look different. The application may look different, but that's an alive energy and a vibrancy that transcends the grave. When you imprint on people, places, and things, when people, places, and things are named after you, like we talked about the hunter, the juniors, the third, the fourth, the fifth, that makes you immortal. So there are many other things, but those are the things that I want to talk about in this space or bring up. And thinking about my own immortality, right? Spirit of a Woman is a manifestation of that. The Wake Up Everybody virtual community is a manifestation of that. Me being an author of a book called Walk in the Light with Me is a manifestation of that. Me composing a song of the same name, Walk in the Light or Freedom, is a manifestation of that. The plays that I've written, manifestations of that. The documentary that I'm in, like all of that makes me immortal. Not that because I'm dope or this or that, like I'm cool, but because I am here and I'm a manifestation of the creator's best work, I'm immortal. And I'm going to come back again and again and again. That's my belief. I'm not asking anyone else to believe that. So I'll never die. Energy is never destroyed. What we destroy, how we destroy it is by our limited mindset around it, right? We kill off and make energy mortal, able to be killed off, but it's not true. It's a fallacy and a fantasy. So Tiff, where are we going next?
All right, so I'm gonna just briefly review a couple of the comments in the chat. So Darnice did answer us when she brought up the an illness or a diagnosis of an illness will have you mindful that life is short. It was regarding her mom. And that was the answer to that question.
Thank you.
Nija shared, one of my Girl Scout troop friends died when I was school aged. I believe that was my first experience with someone I know having died. Every time I have a surgical procedure or fly on a plane, I am confronted with the, what if I don't survive this? I also was confronted personally with death in a car accident and right after the birth of my daughter. Terry says, I agree that my physical made me aware of my own mortality. When I attended funerals in which parents had to bury their own children. As a result, I purchased life insurance for my son. My mother and I had conversations about our mortality and what I want our final intentions to be. And then there are a couple of more responses and feedback on the purchasing of life insurance and how that impacts the family as part of the transition process and mortality. And then I'm just jump to some of the newer comments here.
While you look for that, I just want to say something about life insurance. Once again, reframe, right? So there are cultures that utilize life insurance as a form of investment or generational wealth building. I'm not going to name who they are. You know, you can do the research. We've been taught that it's all about like, we want to leave something behind. We want folks to have money, but to me, it's a low vibrational thought. Because for me, it's not about just getting a lump sum of money, being able to bury you and then having this money. Because if you don't think from an immortal framework, you'll get the money, spend it up on some bullshit, and it'll be gone. But when you think about generational wealth and opportunity, like a conversation I had with my uncle, who's one of the older members of the family well, actually both uncles on both sides. My uncle, that's my maternal uncle, and my uncle, who's my maternal uncle. Recently, I've had conversations with them about the age that they are, and the fact that we would benefit from having life insurance on them so that they can contribute to what the family will use to continue to build generational wealth. Not about how we're going to bury them, because we're going to bury them. We're going to make sure that they're good, but just making sure that that investment is there. It's just another pathway to creating that space. And that, once again, is a manifestation of immortality for that person. It's like, shit, don't think about the fact that I'm going, think about how we're going to get this land and how we going to make sure that the babies that we haven't even met yet are good to go, because there's property and other investments that are in place to keep wealth perpetuating in our clan. So I just wanted to put that out there. Life insurance to me is about life, not death. Tiff, you want to say something else?
Yes. So just really quickly with that, from my family, we always had to do everybody pitch in to send a relative off. And my dad had made a promise to my mom that he was not going to place that burden on her. He wanted to, in that mind state, not have the worry of how are we going to bury him, what all these things are. And so he kept his word. And it was really like sitting with the funeral director and my mom and my brother as we selected things. And it's a business, and she's sitting there, she's adding things up, and and she hands us the paper with the total on it. And I'm like, wow, that's a lot. And mommy pulled out the paper and she just handed the lady the paper. She says, here you go. And dad took care of mom so well that there was still money left over after we sent him off like the king he was, for her to be able to now have these things here. So yeah, it is a matter of ensuring the life of the person. But as you said, also making sure that once this money comes in, you're not just spending it all willy-nilly, like I'm gonna go and be broke again. So dad continues to take care of the family in his passing, ensuring that without his physical presence, his supportive and spiritual presence is still with us. So that's just what was on my heart, just there to share that. I'm sorry for taking over.
You did not take over. We co-creating this space. Come on. It's just what we do. So we can hear from Teresa and Rachel, and then I'm going to start wrapping up in the space. I'm so grateful. Like I said, I wasn't technically slated to be in here this morning. There was another facilitator that was scheduled, but when they had to cancel, I stepped in, and I'm so grateful that Spirit gave me this particular topic to bring forth in the space, because it's been a powerful and generative conversation. So Teresa, are you ready?
Yes. Hi, family. How y'all doing? Thank you, Sakia, for calling me, waking me up. I wanted to ask a question. I remember there was a lady, Gia, and she was saying, I've been having a lot of problem with memory loss, but I've also been dealing with stuff like with the family stuff, like, like trying to understand like how to gather us back. Because I seem like since my mother passed, since my grandmother and then my mother passed, it's like the family has been scattered, and it bothers me. I don't know if it bothers anybody else, but it bothers me. And but lately I've been having a problem with my memory. And I was wondering, you remember when she said if you were dealing with certain things, that it was something I wasn't looking at. I was just trying to figure out what was I looking at that could be affecting my memory. I mean, it could be something medical too, but it just came to ask you that. Do you remember what it was that she said she was not looking when, like if your eyes were bothering you, you wasn't seeing something properly? And I was just trying to figure out, to assist myself, with the memory, 'cause it's really been like severe, not like a little bit, like really bad. It's like totally just forgetting stuff, like things I'm supposed to be doing that I haven't done. It's like it just wiped out completely.
Yeah.
And so
I just wanted to offer up that that's the metaphysical view of life. And to me, that's another manifestation of immortality, because sometimes we think very practically And if it's, if it's not in your hand, then it doesn't exist and it doesn't matter. I love that I transitioned into a metaphysical, spiritual way of thinking about things. So things that happen with these physical mortal bodies give information on a spiritual level for what is going on with us. So anything that is happening with you, any dis-ease you experience has a metaphysical or spiritual connection to it. And so if you're having trouble with your vision, it may be something that you're refusing to see, or with your memory, things that you just don't want to process and know, and be responsible, because part of the metaphysical word is the physical, right? So perhaps you need to go and check yourself out to rule out that there's a physical thing going on, but simultaneously with the physical diagnosis is the spiritual and the metaphysical message for you.
Yes.
So just, you can Google it. You can say the spiritual meaning behind memory loss, and
Okay.
you'll get a whole bunch of hits on what that means, what it could possibly mean. But my feedback and coaching always for you is to quiet yourself and listen, so the mind can get clear, so that you can receive whatever information, messaging, guidance, support that is needed. So if you're experiencing that and it's extreme, check yourself out. And then,
I'm going to the doctor today.
oh, good.
Today, yes.
Excellent.
Going today, yes.
Yeah. And because our bodies are masterful, when you're not operating from I'm so scared, then you get an opportunity as I'm so curious about what's going on. And I get to go and find out what that is in partnership. Because I said what makes us immortal is the relationships that we forge and the co-creation that we bring to this life and this experience. So you go to the doctor, co-create, ask a bunch of questions, and get clear about what's going on with your body and what your mind is holding or not, or trying to resist or release that maybe you need to know. And then come back and let us know what's up, because we care, because we love you. You're part of our clan, and you are what makes me immortal. And thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. All righty. So Rachel has her hand up. She'll be the last sharer. Tiff, you'll let me know if there's anything else that needs to be read in the chat, and then we're going to close out.
Good morning. Oh, so I just want to, I don't even know why this background is here, but okay. So what came up for me was August 31st, when I was like 1994, I was arrested. My granddaughter was born August 31st, right? My father's name was Azrab, and my son and my daughter-in-law named her Alessandra without knowing that they used to call him short for Allie.
Mm-hmm.
And I called my father short for Allie. That was his name. So it's like, and then she has a lot of my mother's expressions. So this was for me, when she was born, I was like, this is new life for me. Like generational curses broken, the immortality even of my mother.
Yes.
Lived within me.
Yes.
Everything that she wanted to be, everything that she wasn't able to be because of her early death. I'm able rather to be sound mind and physically capable of being here for my grandbabies the way I believe she wanted to be for my kids. So I am complete. Yeah. So this is huge for me. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. So powerful. And look at you carrying your immortal self in your arms. I love it. She's like, yeah, look at me. I love it. Thank you for sharing and sharing her with us for sure. All right. Oh my, I gotta let my sister talk now too. Sorry. Sissy, come on.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, sis. Beautiful sister. I remember, I wanted to say a lot more, but you know me. I remember texting you. I think it wasn't too long ago. I think it was last week. And, I came in my spirit to preach. I texted you and Omari, and I said, the physical never lives, but the spirit does. So as we speaking today, I'm like, wow, that came in my spirit to say that. And I was telling like most of the family members, because sometimes when I wake up, I have a message. So I remember texting you and Omari, my nephew, the same topic that we're having, that the physical never lives, but the spiritual lives.
Okay.
You remember that text I sent you?
I don't, but my spirit clearly does, Sissy. So, I'll go back and look, because your crazy sister keeps all messages. I have messages for years. And once again, immortality, like I have all the messages from me and Shawnee and our exchanges up until the last day she was on the planet. And I'm like, I keep my stuff on my emails. They would tease me about it, but I'm sure I have your message. I just have to go back and look. I won't do it now, because then I'll be scrolling and we'll be lost on our own tangent.
Yes,
but I'll send it to you later.
Yeah, we spoke about the text, because it was a message from my niece, and we had a short conversation about what I've said, because it came from her, and I was telling you that I think I mentioned when you used to say like you thought that you and her was going to get old together. And I said, she told me that you are, because her spirit is still alive.
Okay.
That's in the text. Just scroll back, sister.
I remember that part.
Yes. But it's just funny because we're having this conversation, and then the book came in my spirit too. I just never communicate with you about it, because she always was telling me book, and I'm like, I'm thinking she's talking about me. She probably is. My niece is very powerful.
Yes, she is.
Oh, book. So I'm like, I gotta tell my sister book. So I'm thinking me, because I have all these books and I never put them out. So, she always gave me, after she transitioned, she always gives me her transition, and brought me life, and I don't want to go deep on that, but it woke me up to a whole new part of myself that, I was sleeping on, so I'm taking that. She sacrificed a lot for us. So it just gave me life. And I'm not going to keep talking, but yes, remember sending you that text not too long ago about what we're talking about now.
Sure. Yeah, I remember the piece about us growing old together. I remember that part. And I'm going to go back and read what you put out there, but you said it verbally. To me, that's even more powerful. And book. It could be both for both of us. What I'm present to is because everything for me is around the voice, and I'm curious about the community and their experience of this, like how my sister and my voices are. And Shawnee also had the voice, this deep voice. My mother has that. Our mother has this voice too, with different levels of deepness. It depends on the time of day. Like me waking up in the morning, I sound just like my mama. But just also that, and just how powerful our voices are. It's just about us choosing to use it. Our mom has a very powerful, deep voice with a lot of resonance. She doesn't always utilize it, but when she does, it's like she preaches, she teaches. So I'm just conscious of our voices in our clan, the sound of them and the power of them and the sound of them on another level. So thank you for unmuting and sharing and speaking in the space today, Sissy. I appreciate you. I love you.
No problem. I love you too. Love you guys also.
Yes.
Have a good morning.
Okay. Joyce, love you very much.
Yeah. So Tiff, we ready to close out?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, awesome. I thank y'all. Y'all are just so phenomenal family, just beyond glorious, this clan. And I'm just so blessed to be a part of this community. So let's move forward. I'm going to share the special offer. Right, hold on. So the special offer is connected to the Be the Tree Rites of Passage Collective. We're about to start our next cycle, and I'm excited about it. And also this is also part of my immortality. just this clan that just keeps growing and growing. The collective is almost 300 strong. And just having done this work all these years, and then also doing rites of passage for girls, young girls 12 to 16 and their family for 10 years. And those women now having babies, doctors, lawyers, architects, artists. Like, it's amazing. Once again, part of my immortality, because I've left an imprint on them because of innovation and co-creation in the world. So just encouraging y'all to just really own that, and to be intentional about what you're creating that will generate mastery over your mortality. So Be the Tree, once again, has free introduction sessions. I'm leading one on Wednesday night from 6 to 8-ish, for any folks who identify as women, any folks that identify as women, to be present to the power that you wield. And the session focuses on the 3 phases of womanhood. And we talk about how each of the phases impacts your beingness and once again creates your immortality, or has you tied to this low vibration of your mortality in the sense of danger, death, loss, darkness. So we want to undo that and learn a new thing, especially as women in the world who have experienced marginalization and dismissiveness and misogyny and patriarchy. Like, we get to reclaim our power. So at the end of the month, we're starting the new cycle. And this Wednesday, and then also Saturday coming, will be an introduction session, which is free. And that introduction, we're doing introductions in August and at the top of September. After the program starts, we'll still be doing them just in case folks want to still jump in. But I'm encouraging folks to join, even if you're not clear about how you would be able to do the program, because it's tuition based. It's a 4-month journey. You can at least check it out and then explore the possibilities of doing it and being it and transforming it and contributing to your mortality. So Tiff is dropping in the link so that you can register for a free intro this month. Once again, the next 2 are Wednesday and Saturday of this week, so that we can co-create with one another and see what's popping in the realm of womanhood. Oh, and my contact information. This is how you get in touch with me. My number, find me on Facebook, Instagram, and then also you can email me if there's something that you want to say and express that you didn't get a chance to share in the space. And then also reach out to me if you want to recommend facilitators, because these conversations are so generative and there's so many gifted people, and we never can have enough awesome facilitators to share and provide guidance, support, and growth and ascension for us. Monthly automated love offerings. For those of you who are already doing this, thank you, thank you, thank you. For those of you who give as you're able to give, thank you, thank you, thank you. We have an automated offering so that you can give monthly and not have to think about it. In this space, we view money as my own natural energy yield. So the word is an acronym. The word is an affirmation. The word is a declaration of what we are as far as energy and power and what we can manifest in the form of currency of all kinds. So please, if you're able to give monthly, if you have that level of resources, please do give, and you can just put it in and it'll do it automatically and you don't have to worry about it anymore. And we continue to grow in this space. So up next for us tomorrow and Wednesday, our sister Valencia, who's in this space, will be sharing Naughty Naughty Whole Life Policy. She's going to be sharing in connection to what we talked about today. And remember, this week is about mastery. So mastery over living means that we have the things that we need to have in place so that those that love us, who make us immortal, will be able to be comfortable and aligned, because we're comfortable and aligned and prepared. And so come and learn more about that. She's given us multiple levels of this. So come and ask your questions and then take action. And then on Wednesday, our brother Kadeem, who we haven't seen for a few months, is coming back through with morning meditation and sound bath. Mastery over grounding ourselves is super important. And he's giving us a skill to build our mastery muscle in that realm. In the Woo Nation, we welcome any new participants into the space. In this community, we're here to learn, elevate, and ascend. We ask that you come back, no one and done, no hit it and quit it, but here in perpetuity so that we can create our immortal energies together. And the schedule, just to remind you, we're here on Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday from 7 to 8:30. in Zoom space and on Facebook Live. And then we're also here on Monday and Wednesday from 7 to 7:30. We went longer today, but it was so worth it. So thank you for this Monday morning manifestation, everybody. So love you. And if you want to receive reminders and alerts, please do text 74121 as if it's a number. And then in the text box, put the word in caps, Woo Nation, and then it'll automatically add you to the automated texting thread. Our swag. I have on swag today. Wake up, everybody. How we wake up is through the conversations we have today. And I'm activating the session by wearing this top. And so buy your water bottle, your tea, coffee cup, your t-shirt, your sweatshirt, your laptop sleeve, your tote bag, your journal to write down these immortal innovations and co-creations. And then wear your mask to say stay safe. Sorry, y'all, because COVID is not over. Love you, love you, love you. And we thank you for being here. And I told Tiff, I'm like, should I be like, yeah, y'all love on me? So I'm going to pass this to Tiff and you set the stage and then we can all go about our Monday morning and afternoon business. Tiff, you there? Uh-oh, maybe she's not here. So I'll carry on. So
Nope. I'm here. I'm bouncing back and forth between the different screens and paces. So
okay.
Here's how we stay in touch. Register weekly at bit.ly/wake up movement. Join us on our social media pages on Facebook and our private group. It's bit.ly/woo community. And on our public page, which is bit.ly/woo nation. Follow us on Instagram at Wake Up Everybody Virtual. Find episodes on YouTube at bit.ly/woo on YouTube. And last and certainly not least, always email us at info.wakeupseries@gmail.com. At this time, we ask all participants who are still in the space to come off of mute. It is time to give Miss Shawnee a verbal love rain shower and thank her for her time this morning. Thank you so much, Shawnee. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you,
This was
Shawnee.
so
Presentation.
amazing.
Shawnee. Love
Thank
you.
y'all. Thank you, family. Amazing session.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much.
Thank you so much this
Thank you so
morning,
much,
It was
Coach
Corey
Shawnee.
amazing.
Love you.
Let's move
and
forward,
inviting
everybody,
Thank
me.
and
you
have a
so
blessed
much,
day.
Coach
Input.
Shawnee.
Thank
You
you
are
Stay
for all
creative
the
and
the
stay
love you
humble.
showed. Thank
Conversation.
y'all.
powerhouse in the house.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Thank
Hi,
powerhouse in
Miss
the
you.
house.
Hi,
Have
Miss
a blessed
Theodora.
day.
How
Thank
you
you so
doing? I
much for
miss
this
seeing you.
conversation
So
and for
Thank
everybody
you
Thank you
for
so
who
much for
sharing.
this.
shared
Thank you
and
so
having
much.
a
Ma'am,
fabulous
thank
day.
you
This
for
was
Bye.
sharing.
We
amazing. I
love
love
you.
it. Love it. Love it.
Peace,
Love it. Love it.
being
Love it.
greater.
God
So
bless
glad to
God
see
you
your
and your
grandbaby.
journey.
Grandbaby
creativity.
is so
All is
beautiful.
well. God
Love
bless you.
y'all. Love y'all. Great section. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow, Miss Valencia. Great section. Love y'all. Hey, Tiffany.